Hey class, want to go over job skill 20-9 with you. So this one here, it is an employee's withholding allowance certificate. This is something, if you have ever had a job, ever, you have filled out this form. It's a W-4 form, and it is to let the employer know how you want to file your taxes. As you could tell with the payroll taxes, depending on how you fill out this form will depend on how much money is deducted from your income. So what it's wanting you to do is to fill it out for yourself as if you were being hired by Dr. Gerald and Fran Practon. So I'm going to fill up the form or pull up the form for you so you can see it. The first thing I want to tell you, this form has changed. So this is a 2016 form, and it looks like this. This form has been the same probably since the 90s. I remember filling these forms out back when, I worked at my first job at Dairy Queen. The form has finally changed, and it looks like this. This is the 2020 form. Now, I'm just letting you know this just for an FYI for yourself, so you can get familiar with this form, because I have hired employees. I've hired medical assistants since January of this year, and they're having to fill out this new form, and a lot of them are very, very confused by this form. It is something new. There's a worksheet that's with it. It's a very lengthy form. So my recommendation to you is, when you get spare time, go and Google W-4 2020 form. It's that easy. It's on the irs.gov website. You pull it up and just get familiar with this form, because when you go and get your job, they're going to want you to know how to fill out this form. This is the new form they're using as of January 1st, 2020. It goes in tax brackets, which makes it a lot more confusing for people that are married and have a self-employed husband like I do, because our tax bracket can fluctuate. So just get very, very familiar with it, though. The one that you're going to be using for the job skill is this one, which is the 2016 form. This is fairly simple. You're just going to go down and you're going to read it. It'll tell you when to enter what number. So you're going to enter one for yourself. Everybody would do that unless you're being claimed on somebody else's taxes, which is not typical of an adult unless you did not work. So if you didn't work, you wouldn't be filling out this form. So you have a 1 here. Enter 1 if you are single and only have one job. If you're married and there's only one job in the household. If your wages from a second job are less than $1,500. So you would enter 1 here if any of that is correct. For me, it is 0. I'm filling this out for myself. I'm not single. My husband has a job and I have 2 jobs. So I would fill out 0 here. Enter 1 for your spouse, but you may choose to enter 0 if you are married and have a working spouse. So I enter 0 because my spouse is working. Enter number of dependents. So this is other than your spouse and yourself on your tax return. So me and my husband have 3 children. We claim 3 children. This is where it gets sticky. If you put 3 here, they're going to take less money out of your paycheck every time you get paid, but that's less money in your tax return. Well, since my husband is self-employed, I need to make sure they take as much money as possible, so at the end of the year we don't owe money. So I actually put 0 here. This is kind of up to you what you want to claim. The more dependents you claim, the less money they'll take out of your paycheck. But remember, that means it's the less money you get back at tax return time. So just, be careful with this number. And you do not want to claim 10 if you have 1 kid, because they're going to not take out anything in taxes. And then come tax return time, you might owe money. So just make sure you're honest as best as you can be on there. So enter 1 if you file head of household, which I do not, because my spouse is our head of household. So on E, I would do 0. Enter 1 if you have at least $1,900 of child or dependent care expenses. This is talking about child care and things like that. If you know that last year on your taxes, you claimed more than $1,900 a year in some type of care expense for your child, then you would enter 1 here. I'm blessed because I have family that helps us, so I enter 0 because we do not have to pay for that. If your total income will be between $61,000 and $84,000, $90,000 and $119,000 if you're married, enter 1 for each eligible child, plus 1 additional for you if you have 6 or more eligible children. So I do not fill out this portion. Number G, I leave it as 0. My husband's income fluctuates, so most of the time we're above some of this. So we just do 0 here. That is completely up to you. You can calculate that and figure out if you want to enter 1 for each dependent or not. So as I go down on H, it's telling me add lines A through G and enter total here. So if I add my lines, I only have 1. So H would be 1. Then it's going to ask me for my personal information. So I'm going to type in my name with my middle initial here. Then I'm going to type in my last name. Your Social Security on this, you are going to fake it. I do not want to know your Social Security number. Please do not give me your Social Security number. So just make one up and go from there. Your home address, if you do not feel comfortable putting it, you can put a fake one. 123 Elm Street will work. And then you'll do the city and state, married or single. Right here, it's asking you to put the number from H. You put it there. And then if you want any additional amount, which typically most people don't, you would just 0 that out. And then where it says employee signature, you are going to just do your name and the date. So today's date. So there's that. And then the employer's information, you're going to have to pull up your Procter & Medical Group. I know it's been a second since we've had that pulled up. Pull up Procter & Medical Group if you have it. If you don't, here's the information that you need. It's the EIN number. So you'll need the address, the phone number, and the group EIN number, which as you can tell here, is the 208765-432. So you will be typing all of that into the actual form right here under EIN. The office code, I do not think that is given to us in the Procter & Medical Group. I do not see it there. So that's okay. Don't worry about that. Just ignore it. But just make sure you get the address and in the employer's name. If you have any questions, let me know.